50% take the summer off.
Yeah.
So I wasn't super successful in promoting camp. So I'm going to need probably some direction on how to do that better next go around so I get some more moments for camp.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I haven't taught in the summer generally, and so they're not used to being even considering that because I'm usually off in the summer.
Right.
So we're trying to kind of repackage what we're doing, and instead of calling it tuition, we're calling it studio membership, and trying to just, you know, articulate the different things that we're doing that are new and different that give them more value as a studio instead of just here's your lesson, see you next week. So
absolutely, yeah. So what are you doing with that?
So what I've done is I have put a lot of my kids in my studio on a software program called Piano Marble, which is a proprietary software program. You've probably heard of it. And so that's going really well. So we offer that. I just did a group lesson for 2 kids that are special needs, kind of ADHD, ADD. That's where I was just now. They just left. And that was their introductory lesson. And so I started them up, you know, just basics, teaching them rhythm, and then started them in Piano Marble just to see how they'll do with that. So I haven't taught any group classes really, and that's where I'm trying to kind of go, because I think you know my situation. I have 71 enrolled kids that I teach myself, and then I have a teacher who teaches 30-something, and then I just brought on another teacher who's going to take on some kids for me. But I don't really know how to sell a group lesson yet, and I don't have a format for it. So I'm signed up to go to Texas at the end of June to go visit Deborah Perez. She's got a clinic she's running. So I'll be there for that. Hopefully I'll get dialed in on how to actually do group lessons and see it happening, because I don't want to try and reinvent the wheel. I just need to have it like, here's what you do, you know, start to finish, and then go do it, implement it, right? So that's kind of where I'm at with that. And then there's just summer, just scheduling kids for the summer and making sure that I've got days where I'm on and days where I'm off, just kind of chunking them better so that I don't have a few every day.
Yeah.
I don't want to waste my time doing that.
Summer, we're open.
And then what's that?
Summer, we're open 3 days a week.
Really?
We're open 4 days a week. We were almost open 2 days a week, but we had some camps that we were doing, so we're already gonna have to be here 3 days for some of those, and decided to just do it. But it's the same idea, chunking everything together instead of doing. It depends on the person, because there's definitely some that I would rather teach 8 students a day, 5 days a week, and just do a few hours and be done. Personally, I'd rather just kill it over a day or two and then have 5 days off. Yeah,
and so what I've done is I've scheduled the kids to come in Monday, Tuesday, and then I'm off Wednesday, and then I teach Thursday afternoon, evening, and Friday morning. So they're more, you know, that's as good as I could do, but at least it's better than having to be here every day for a couple hours. So in that way, it was good that I canceled the summer camps, because then I would be here every day. And I think I'll probably repackage those next year, not to be 5-day camps, but they'll probably be 3-day camps.
That's our first summer we did 5-day camps, and it was 3 or 4 hours a day. I think it was like 175-ish, maybe 150, 200, something like that for the week. It was just too much for who we are. You know what I mean? Like, some people can do that and do longer and do really well. We just weren't at the size to be able to do that kind of thing. And we got 4 kids or something like that signed up. So we broke even, basically, because you can't compete with the bigger stuff. This year, we're doing 3-day camps, 9:30 to noon, Tuesday through Thursday. And I think we've got 6 signed up right now for our camp that starts on the 10th or 12th of June, a couple of weeks. And our max is like 8 or 10. So we're pretty much full on that one.
That's good.
Which is good. And we're only doing, I think, 4 of them over our 8-week summer term.
Oh, that's not bad.
So for us, it's been offering them a little more sporadically instead of trying to get every week filled. And offering smaller doses of them instead of longer. But really,
I think families are more into that because they don't want to be tied down to a certain schedule for weeks on end. They're like, okay, this week we have free. Let's do something that week.
Yeah, exactly. So that's working well. The hard thing for most studios is we have a lot more time during the summer. because a lot of students take the summer off, so we've got a little bit of space there. Plus, we're normally locked into after school hours. Well, since it's summer, we can start teaching at 9 in the morning or 8 in the morning, whenever we want to. So we start opening up all these different possibilities, and it just overwhelms people. And it's too much.
Yeah.
So it's trying to find the best few things that you can do. I mean, I say that, but right now we have 4 different camps this summer. We have 15 different group classes that we're doing in June. And I think 10 or 12 of them are full or close to it. There's a few that just have like 1 student, and we're trying to get them filled up in the next week or so, because we start next week. Most of them have filled pretty well, but that's because we're switching from a private to a group model.
Are you?
We are. Not 100%, but we want most of our beginner students and intermediate students to be in our group classes going forward.
So how did you just notify your parents, hey, in the summertime we're going to roll it into group lessons and pick a time, or how did you group these kids? Like, how did you roll it over?
What we've done is we've basically kind of grandfathered the older ones into just sticking with their private lessons. So what we did in the spring is we started rolling out, we've always done groups, but just not well. In the spring, it was about half and half. So we had about 90 private, about 90 group.
Yeah.
Which is good. So summer, it's looking like closer to 75, 25% towards groups, like a lot more signing up for groups. And it's because we have a lot of new students come in during the summer, because there's kids that just want something new to try out. We're having our current students take like different groups, for example. So we do like piano lab, kind of piano lessons. So everyone has keyboards and headphones and works on their own thing.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter if this is your first day or you've been here for 10 years. You're working on your own thing. So we've been able to get some of our current students to get in, not as in place of private lessons, but in addition to. So basically like, hey, take your normal private lessons, but jump into some of these groups, and it'll just give you some more like guided practice throughout the week, since you're probably looking for something to do this summer anyway.
So did you say, okay, well, this is going to be like an enrichment kind of thing, like in addition, we're offering you a slot, or do they have to pay for that also?
They pay for it, yeah. They pay the same as anyone else in the group. But our groups are like, it's $100 for a 30-minute group each week for a month. So it's not too bad. It's pretty affordable. And most of the families that we have here are looking for something to do. So they're like, yeah, we'll definitely sign up for that. We've got others that we're kind of, all except for one of our teachers teach multiple instruments. So we're kind of multi-instrumental. So we have a lot of students that will just try new things. They've been taking guitar. Hey, try ukulele this summer. They're doing piano. Ukulele has been really big for us. This has been good. So we kind of push people towards that. Drums are always fun during the summer, even if they don't stick with it long term. That's kind of how we put our groups out there. Like, hey, it's a 4-week group. Come and try it out. You can keep going into July. You can do 4 weeks in July, or you can try something different. And then we're going to take a couple of weeks off before we get to the school year anyway. But our goal when every single person comes through is to either get them signed up for the next month, like if June, I want to get them signed up for July, or I want them to get them signed up for the fall.
Yeah, see, that's where I'm at. I can see that I'm going to be full in the fall, and I get calls every week for more students. And I'm like, I don't even know where to put them.
Yeah.
So
So you're in a good place then. So you're just trying to figure out your summer, because your fall's already good, right?
well, yeah, my fall is full, but I just added more students for summer, and I'm like, where am I going to put them for fall?
So what you do is, instead of working in like new students that you know are going to be long-term students, think of your summer more as an experiential thing. Like, hey, come try out piano in this like piano group thing we're going to do. And you bring them in and let them kind of try it, and know that it's going to attract a different type of student. It's probably not going to attract the long-term student. It's going to attract the one that just wants to try this out, and then next week they're going to try painting, and then the next month they're going to try soccer.
I see what you're saying. So more, I see what you're saying, yeah.
Yeah, because you don't need them in the fall. And
I don't even know where to put them.
Yeah.
Generally,
some of them,
yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
But the idea is you don't want all of them. Like, you're going to want some of them. You know what I mean? So if you have 10 students sign up for a group class, you can get a couple of them to come, and that'll be good enough to keep you motivated.
Yeah, what I'm thinking of doing is what I'm trying to do is pull in a bunch of beginner students so that I can farm them out to my new teacher, who's a new teacher.
Absolutely.
And fill up the space here. I have a teacher who comes in twice a week to teach with me here, so I have time 3 days a week where I don't have another teacher that I could put in a room.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of my game plan. But what I'm finding is like these special needs kids, there's no way she could teach the special needs kids.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's great to have you. I don't know where I'm going to put you in the fall.
Yeah. And you figure it out. I mean,
yeah.
I found that, you know, when you have those situations, when I was at my big church before I started my studio, people would call for lessons, like siblings of kids or friends, and I was full. I wasn't advertising. I had 75, 80 students on my own.
Yeah.
And I would say, okay, I would love to take you on literally the only spot that I have available. I start at 1 o'clock every day. I'm here until 9 when the church kicks me out. The only spot I have is 8:30 on Friday nights.
Yeah.
And you think there's no way, and like I don't want to be there at 8:30 on Friday night. Like, no one's gonna,
No.
And I swear to you, student's still with me today, like 7 years later. She's gonna be a senior next year. But I remember her taking and thinking, why? Like, surely you've got something better. She was like 10 or 11 at the time. Like, you got to have something better to do at 8:30 on a Friday night than take ukulele lessons. But they were so incredibly thankful for the opportunity to get into my schedule because they could tell he's full. He's really, really full. So going into that summer, because she started in the spring, going into the summer, I took on 2 of her sisters. So I had all 3 of them. And then a few more spots open up so I could kind of take them in. And then I taught all 4 of their sisters after a while. So take them on because you're going to lose some in the fall. Even if they're like, yeah, definitely, like it always happens. You know, you're going to have
sure. And so what I did was I sent out an email in May and I said, okay, if you're taking summer off, here are your options, right? You can take I sent out a Google form that just said, we're going to take summer off. We are only going to take June off. We're only going to take July off. And then, you know, we're continuing through the summer. So I had, you're either going to take summer off and come back August 6th. You're going to take some time off in June. You're going to take time off in July, or you're going to continue through the summer. And so I have a pretty good feel for where they are. And then I tell people, okay, look, if you're taking time out, you still have to register for fall and you have to give me a $25 deposit so that I will save your space because I need to know where my new students will go.
Good.
And kind of just said, look, it's a scarcity issue. And if you're not coming back, I need to know now. Yeah. So I know I'm full for fall.
Awesome. That's where we were too. We did the same. I think we had, like I said, about 90 private students in the spring, and I think we had 60 so far set up for fall. I'm pretty good with that. Like 2/3 booking and giving me a $50 deposit 4 months in advance because this was in like April and May. I'm fine there. Like that's good, and that gives me a really good idea. And they know. If they call me in August or July and say, hey, we want to come back on Thursdays at 4, it's gone.
Yeah, that's what I told people. I was like, okay, you're taking summer off. Your spot's not going to be open. You know, and I asked them, you know, do you want the same spot for fall? But I can't guarantee it if you're not taking them, you know, taking lessons through summer, I'm not going to hold your spot.
And we've done it before, but I think the biggest thing, and I think my video is going to be about this month, just being able to say, look, we love having you guys around, we will keep you around, but if you don't pay your deposit by this date, you're not going to have a spot in the fall. Or you're going to have a spot, but it's not going to be the spot that you really want. And being able to say that in a nicer way, but in still a way that was firm, to where they understood, like, I'm not begging you. I don't need your money right now. This isn't me trying to like slam you and get. It's mostly schedule stuff. They're like, I don't know what my.
That's what I'm saying. Exactly. It's like, and I told people that like in April, I'm scheduling now for summer and fall. I need to know, you know, what your interests, you know, what you're going to be planning to do, so I can plan my schedule because they know I'm busy. You know, I'm like, dude, I teach from 8:30 in the morning until 7 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
Almost every day. And I'm like, where am I going to put another kid, you know?
Yeah. And it works. I mean, I had probably 3 or 5 said, look, we have no idea what our fall is going to be like, but let me give you the deposit to hold our spot. And that way, you know, if it doesn't work out, you know, whatever, it's $50. But if it does, okay, at least we'll have our spot.
Yeah.
And that, like, I appreciate those, not just for the money either way, but for understanding where I'm coming from too, you know. I think it's good. I think you're in the right spot there. So really, what are we looking at today? We're looking at
I don't know. I didn't see an agenda, so I'm not sure what you wanted to talk about. I'm just like, okay, I'll show up. I'm just like, I'm treading water right now, just like trying to,
Yeah.
finish out the school year.
Over yet? Has the school year ended?
No.
Yeah.
So we're kind of in that weird quasi summer break thing, after Memorial Day. You know how it goes, right? School doesn't get out until the first week of June here. But the charter schools, a lot of the vendors in the charter schools, they're done mid-May. Yeah. So we have this kind of drop-off period, and then I have to bill all the schools. And so that's what I'm doing right now, is just trying to finish billing for the semester, kind of let the dust settle, and then also make sure next week when June comes that I'm ready for summer.
Yeah,
so,
it's a weird time for sure. Our schools ended last week. Graduation and everything was last week. We finished lessons May 7th, so we've been out since. So it gives us that time to like mentally get ready for summer. Yeah. And we've had some right now. This is the first official week off since Memorial Day. So people are like, okay, they're suddenly their kids are in the house and they get them out. We just had a new library open up in our town like last week.
Oh, nice.
We went to yesterday, and they have like little office spaces basically where you can like take a little study room and like do some stuff. So I was working in there, and it was slammed. Like there were people everywhere, and I realized it's just like the gym. Like it's like that first week in January where everybody's in the gym. It's all the moms going, "You're gonna have a good summer. We're gonna be in the library every day. We're gonna hang out." And in like a week, nobody will be there. Everybody's gonna be watching TV, sitting at home.
Yeah. They just want to go check it out.
So,
yeah.
And there's this time at the first couple of weeks of summer where people are trying to figure it out. But we find that we get most of our signups the week before summer lesson starts and the first week of summer.
Really? Because I kind of quit advertising. I was like, I don't seem to be getting any group classes, or I don't seem to be getting any camp signups, so I'm just not going to advertise for it. And the 2 people that signed up, I'm just like, never mind. We're not doing it.
Well, and it's different for you because, like I said, our school ended last week. So this would be like mid-June for you.
For me.
Based off of the school calendar, that would be you hitting it probably sometime around there.
Okay.
Just because ours, like I said, ended last week. So we actually went on vacation for about 10 days in mid-May because nobody's signing up. Everybody's done, right where you are right now. Everyone is trying to finish the school year. They're not thinking about, let me plan for later. They're just thinking like, I just have to get through 5 more days. Just 5 more days. And then I can definitely not planning anything.
Yeah.
So that's our drought. That's our driest time. We just go. So we came back a week ago.
So here's the question then. So I'm going to travel and walk with you because my battery just said it's going to go critical. So I'm going to go look for my cord here while I chat. So what was I going to ask you? Oh yeah, my question was, so I'm trying to be a year-round school. I'm trying to kind of, like I said, change my format a bit on the business end so that I'm not taking summer off and I'm year-round, and trying to just keep people in, just that's where we're going this week. Every week we go, we do our lesson, and that's just how it is. Not taking time off, not scheduling a week where we're closed or anything like that. Yeah. So on your schedule, do you bill on a monthly basis, or do you have like a membership thing as well? How does that work for you?
Yeah.
Like, how do you present that?
Yeah, we do semesters. So we are pretty much at the other polar opposite of what you're talking about. So instead of the year-round thing, we take off all those weeks where things get crazy. So like Christmas at the end of December, the end of the school year, the beginning of the school year, we're not doing lessons. So we do a 16-week semester from first or second week of January through the first week of May. Then we take off till the first week in June, do an 8-week term for June and July. Then we take off the first 2 weeks-ish of August and do a 16-week term from August to the first week in December. We take off from the first week of December.
You have a lot of weeks off, yeah.
So we teach 40 weeks a year.
Okay.
2 of the remaining 12 weeks are within our 16-week. So we take a week off for spring break, and we take a week off for Thanksgiving. So they're really 17-week semesters, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then the other 10 weeks are in between our semesters. Like we had, I think, 4 weeks that we've been
So you have a different format, yeah.
Completely different format, but there's a lot of value in both of them. So the downside to my format is there's a very, very natural break for students.
Yeah.
It's very clear, like lessons are over, lessons start here. So a lot of people take breaks because they can.
Yeah.
The
And
flip
that's good
side
in a
is
way. Yeah. I get the value of that too, because like I said, that's what I had been doing for the last 20 years was see you in the fall, you
yeah,
know?
and it
And
works well because
literally,
everybody
you
needs
know,
that break.
yeah.
The flip
That,
side of it is you get that burnout. So
well,
we
there's
don't
that.
get that. We don't
And
get students that burn out because they're only here for 4 months at a time.
yeah. Well, my teacher is in the opposite boat. She's like, I need to work year round. She's like, I can't afford to not work in the summer. And I'm like, I feel you. So I kind of just pushed the studio that way. And what I found was, you know what, there's half of my studio that wants to stay for the summer. They want to keep going. So I'm like, I don't know why I would tell them not to come back for the summer.
Yeah.
You know?
So let's look at that. So you're switching. So this is the first summer that you've taught.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I have 34 out of my 71 that are staying, which is amazing.
What was that number?
34 of my kids are staying out of 71 that I have.
Yeah, so that's about half. That's good.
Yeah, that's really good. And I'm like, well, that's not a bad payday. If I'm, you know, if I can take 2 days off a week plus my weekends, that's okay. I can live with that. And then that means I could potentially push out some of my other days off. I was trying not to teach Friday because most people don't want to be around on a Friday.
Right. Yeah.
But I have a set of 3 kids at a home that I'm teaching, and they can only do Friday morning. So I'm stuck with that for the summer. They're new, actually. They start in June.
I'm surprised, though. A lot of times when people can only do something, suddenly that option isn't available, magically other things appear.
Yeah, I kind of floated that for them already, but just for the summer, they're doing Friday mornings, and then in the fall, they're in school, so they can't do Friday morning.
Right, okay.
So I know it's going to change, but for summer, that's all they could do. And I'm like, yeah, okay. The reason I took them is because, like I said, I'm adding a few things. So we added preschool piano. I'm doing kitty key.
Yeah.
And I did get all of Chris Gillespie's stuff, but I was thinking there was more, and I'm thinking I'm probably missing something. I bought her like school starter thing, like the everything pack.
Nice.
Right? And I'm like, okay, now I have it. I'd still like to see it happening like in action. And I don't know anybody who does it. Yeah. So I'm kind of like, you know.
We do it, and we bought in back when she had the licenses.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you freak me out every time you drink that. It looks like a bottle of Pledge, like the lemon oil stuff.
It's water with lemon.
But the brown and yellow every time, like, ah! Okay, it's fine. It's fine. I'm sure it's water or something.
Yes, it's Arrowhead water.
So
anyway,
we've done since last summer. We bought them when it was a license. So we paid like $1,500 for the program and the license and all that kind of stuff. I think we got most of the same stuff that you have, probably a little bit more. Like I know I have the marketing package. I don't think.
I paid for that too.
Okay, so you have that too?
I got like everything. Like I was like, here's what I'm doing. Just put it in my basket, whatever I need. I had like an email with her conversation. I was like, I see you're rolling over your website, but I was in the middle of buying stuff and it's all like moving around. So if you could just like put everything in my cart and I'll just pay for it. So that's what I did.
Yeah. Chris is fantastic as far as getting all that stuff done. So here's what I learned about Kitty Keys when we did it. You just have to do it because the stuff is prepared extremely well. The curriculum's laid out really well. All the materials are fantastic. The songs that come with it, everything is really, really good. But you're just kind of looking at it on paper, and it's overwhelming. Yeah, and it's just like, it's great, but like I don't even know how to do this. So here's what we did. And summer's a great time for this. We got ours at the end of last summer, like July, August. Yeah. We did a 3-week class. I think it was $25 or something like that. And I don't think we phrased it this way, but it was really just let our teacher figure out how to teach this class. Oh
yeah, like an introductory class. Like and that's actually what I told my families for piano. All the families in the studio. I said, hey, we're going to start doing group piano classes. We want to get your feedback. So if you want a free lesson, like free group class in July or June. July and August. Yeah. And I said, you know, they'll start in September, but for July and August, I'm going to offer some freebie group piano classes. I just want you to come in and just give us your feedback. You know, that's what we're doing. But nobody signed up for preschool classes.
Push really hard. I would even try to get one started in June, just so you can kind of get it off your back and not be like, well, I've got this and I bought it and it's just sitting there. Do one class so that you'll know. and then you can kind of get ready for the next class in July or in August or whatever you do it. But reach out specifically. So I don't know if you did that or if you just kind of sent a blanket email. Reach out to a few families, reach out to a few friends. You don't need much. I mean, honestly, like I have a son that's that age, so I kind of cheated and already had one in there.
Yeah.
But I think we actually had 6 that first class. We had a good little number sign up. But we ran the classes all fall with like 2 or 3 kids. We just couldn't get a lot of sign-ups. This spring it's changed, and we've had like 6 to 8 in all of our classes now.
Yeah. What I'm trying to do, what I think I will do, is talk to my sister-in-law. She has a preschool. She runs a preschool daycare kind of place.
Yeah.
And just see if she'll let me like do a month of curriculum in there just to get a feel for it. And then the other one I have is Wonder Keys. Have you heard of that one?
I have, yeah.
Yeah. So I have Wonder Keys, and that's like one-on-one type preschool class, right? Preschool piano.
Yeah.
So because we teach in home as well, you can't always get them into a group Kitty Keys class. So I'm like, all right, the homeschool families where I'm already going, where I'm teaching piano, I could take on a preschooler and give them the Wonder Keys curriculum. So
that's cool.
Just floating that by people.
I think that would work well. The cool thing with Kitty Keys is even if the classes don't take off like you want them to, the curriculum's really solid. So if you teach any students like 3 to 7, it's still really good stuff to use. So our piano teachers use our Kitty Keys stuff even in our private lessons.
Really?
But using the preschool thing, I think that's where the money is with Kitty Keys. I don't see a lot of teachers doing it yet. But that's where it's at. Like you can teach a class or 2 out of your home and you can make a little bit that way, but it's going to be hard to get more than, let's say, 10 or 20 Kitty Keys students. I have so many Kitty Keys teachers that have tons of students. But if you go to a preschool, because your sister-in-law has one, if you go and do your like free class just so you can learn it, see if you can like start doing classes in her preschool, like offering them as classes as add-ons. Do they do extracurricular stuff there?
I don't think they do.
Really?
I don't think so.
So most of them here do. They have like soccer shots, which is like preschool soccer, or, I mean, these kids are nuts. There's computer classes, Spanish classes, like there's a ton. So I think parents put their kids in the preschools are good, and then they just want them to have every opportunity they can, coupled with the fact that they want them to be involved in activities, but don't want to have to do those activities after work. So they say, hey, you can do piano lessons while you're at preschool. So let's do that. That'd be great. If you can do soccer or computer or whatever else, that'd be great. But yeah, check into that because you can offer it a little bit cheaper than you normally would. But you can have a lot more kids in the class. You know, you can do a class of 10 or 15. And you're already doing charter schools, aren't you?
Yeah.
So this could, depending on the ages of the charter schools you're working in, this could be another offering.
Well, yeah, most of the homeschoolers are elementary. There's a lot of TK through 6th grade.
Yeah.
And then once you get into high school, it kind of drops off. Most high schoolers don't want to be in that format. They're like, I'm independent. I don't want to be in a class.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's what you teach them in homeschool. You're like, do it yourself, get it done. And, you know, when you're done, you're done.
Yeah. That's cool. But yeah, I think there's definitely some potential with Kitty Keys. It just depends on what you want to do with it and how you want it. It's funny, like, I think of the 10-ish consults that I've done this month, half of them have been Kitty Keys type stuff where they're like, I just bought the program. I know that you do it. What do I do? How do I make this happen? Like, so it's becoming a lot more popular. A lot of people are doing it. A lot of people are using it. Every studio is just a little bit different though. So for us, one of the big things that we noticed, we did morning Kitty Keys classes because that's when you do stuff for
preschool
for kids. That just seems like that like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock time. That's when everyone does everything. Yeah. We would have 1 kid, 2 kids, maybe 3 if we were really lucky. We flipped it this spring and started offering them in the afternoons and evenings. All of our classes are full. I don't understand it. We've got a 3:30 class, which you figure like, okay, school's getting out right then. They've probably got siblings, nap time, like all of this is right in there. That class filled up with no problem. We've got a 6 o'clock class. So parents are going to like pick up their kids from preschool after work. And then put them into our Kitty Keys class at 6 o'clock before or after dinner. I don't know. I just never thought that time would work for 3-year-olds, but we had 8 in our last class.
Well, my thinking is with that, they probably have already had dinner and they're doing this like as their activity in the evening and then they take them home. And story time, bedtime.
Yeah. I think so, but I'm not even positive. A lot of them, I really get the feel that they just got off of work, grabbed their kids, and came over.
Yeah,
But
maybe.
whatever it is, it's working, you know?
And do you do, like, are you doing a half-hour class?
Yeah.
Are
So
you
we do
doing
a half-hour class. That seems to work the best for us. There are some that do 40-minute or even 20-minute on the other side. 30 minutes seems to work really well. We do it monthly. It's the only thing that we do monthly in our studio. Everything else, they pay for their semester up front. We used to do, up until this summer, we were doing a 6-week Kitty Keys class for $100, just because it was a nice round number. But we have a 16-week semester, so 6 weeks didn't fit into that very well.
Yeah.
And it just, I don't know, it wasn't working like we wanted it to. So we said, okay, we can go monthly. We can do $65 a month, which is basically the same price, and make it more of a recurring thing. Because what was happening was people would come for the 6-week class, and then they were done. They would say, okay, this was fun. And we go, no, there's like 30 more weeks of Kitty Key stuff. And then there's like a whole nother, I don't know how, if you look at the curriculum, there's got to be like 100 weeks or something. There's a ton.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. There's about 2 years worth of curriculum. But people were taking 6 weeks and then they were done. And it's not because they didn't like it. It's not because they didn't like us. They just felt like they were done. So now they're going to move on to soccer. Now they're going to move on to art or whatever else. They just wanted to try something.
Got it. Yeah, I saw that too. And the marketing materials, I was like, why are they doing, was it a 6-week? Is that their standard in there, 5 or 6 weeks? And
I don't know if it's standard.
So I was like, well, I'm going to offer it as an 8-week. I think I did 8 or 10, something like that, because 8-week is half a semester, right? And so there's usually a natural break in there somewhere where there's a holiday week, and then you can do a second 8-week. You have 2 8-week classes in a semester.
Yeah.
Right.
That can work well. Yeah. I like that. For us, we decided to go with the monthly thing to keep the price lower, because if we did 8 weeks, it would have to be 150, 140, something like that.
Yeah.
And what we saw is that since we do the longer things, as the price got higher, people just seem to go, my kid's 3. Like, I don't want to pay for it. He's going to like piano, but that seems like a lot to pay for piano. Whereas $65, they're like, we could do that. And even if it keeps recurring, they wind up spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars on it. It's only a small bite at a time.
Yeah. No, I totally get that.
So I would say try it both ways. I mean, if we would have stuck with what we were doing and said 6-week classes in the mornings, our Kitty Keys program would be absolutely dead right now.
Yeah.
So just keep trying things, It's a good program. Well, I believe in it.
I was looking at what the other formats are. So there's like, what's it called? Something music, melody time or something like that. There's another music thing. It's not Kinder Music, but something similar.
Yeah.
Where they do the same thing. They sell it as a like a 10-week system, and Wonder Keys is set up as a 10-week class as well.
Yeah.
And they're set up for 30 weeks in the year. So they say, well, that'll take you for an entire academic year is 30 weeks.
Yeah.
So that's how Wonder Keys is set up. 10, 10, and 10.
Yeah. I think if you're doing yearly lessons, which you are now, I would have it planned out for a year. So you said you were doing 8. So you were basically doing 32, like doing the fall, tunes, I guess 40. Are you going to do a summer one too? Yeah.
Yeah, I would do 40. I'd do 48.
I think that works out pretty well.
Yeah, we're open 48 weeks in the year. So that's kind of what I was shooting for, because then you got 6, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's work. I would stick with that. Yeah. So that would be 6 of those. It doesn't give you any breaks or anything. It would just be nonstop.
That's pretty much true.
Yeah.
But then again, it's not that I don't want to be the one teaching it, so I don't really care. If I had a couple of different Kitty Key teachers, then that would be fantastic. That would be the ideal. And so that was the other part of it is, get a couple of college students, teach them how to do it, let them teach it.
Our Kitty Keys teacher is like piano teacher, trained, all that, classical, blah, blah, blah. Our other preschool class that we did for 2 or 3 years, she couldn't play a single thing. It was our Little Rockers class. It was kind of our proprietary thing that we made up. It was basically a 6-week class where we'd introduce them to a drum set or the guitar or piano. 6 weeks on one instrument. They get to learn all about it and play on it for a few weeks and then move to something else.
Yeah.
She didn't know how to play anything, but she was a preschool teacher and she had kids that were that age. So she was fantastic with the age, and all I had to do was say, okay, here's a drum set. That's the kick drum. This is the snare drum. These are hi-hats. and she would just repeat. You know, she learned the material, and
Mm-hmm.
then she would just teach the material. You don't have to know a lot to teach 3-year-olds. You know what I mean? You
No,
have
you
to be
have
able
to, you have to be
relate to
engaging,
3-year-olds.
you have to be
Yeah.
flexible. Yeah. Yeah.
So
That's
I think that's a great idea, just grabbing college students that are going to be awesome with those kids, teach them a little bit of piano or music stuff. Yeah. Even better if you can get we talked about camps. So the first summer that were open, we did camps. And I had when I student taught, I was going to be a K-12 like choir music teacher. I was a music ed degree. When I student taught, I kept up with the seniors in high school that year. I just kind of see where they all went, and Facebook and all that kind of stuff. So one of them wound up going to college, getting a music degree. She was graduating as a music teacher. So I sent her a thing and said, hey, I saw that you're graduating. We have these summer camps that we're kicking off. I think you would be great for it. Why don't you do that, and then you can start your school year stuff. And she was thrilled. It was perfect. We booked the first class with 4 kids and then had nothing after that. So then it was like, hey, what else can you do? Because I like you.
Yeah.
But the camps were pretty much a dismal failure. So piano, she's a voice teacher. So voice and piano she could do. And she's with us 5 years later, still doing voice and piano. But I hired her when she was 22, and I'd known her since she was 18. So you can hire maybe some college students to mostly do that. Maybe find some music grads or music students.
Yeah.
And they can come up and they can teach piano for you, or they can teach preschool. They can even take your Kitty Keys if you're running it through the program. As your Kitty Keys students graduate, you know, teach them Road Trip. Have you used that one yet?
I haven't, and I was curious about that actually. Does that take the place of Kitty Keys or no?
No. So what you have is, here's the whole. Are you familiar with it?
With what?
You know, Pronto.
I just ordered all the books actually.
Nice.
Yeah, because I saw that seems to be super popular, and I haven't really had a good look at it, so I'm curious.
We're kind of switching everything towards that over the last year or two. Jennifer, the piano Pronto, and Chris did Road Trip together, right?
Okay.
So here's kind of that full spectrum. You have Kitty Keys and Company, which is like their Mommy and Me kind of two and under class.
Yeah.
I don't know if you got that as part of your package or not.
I didn't. I was like, nope.
It's not really my thing either. We bought it because it was part of our license, so we've got it. It looks good. It's just not my thing, but we might offer it at some point. So that's 2 and under. Kitty Keys is for like 2.5 to 5, and I think Road Trip starts right kind of in the midst of that. But she has something that she calls Kitty Keys Plus. And what it is it's kind of that bridge between Kitty Keys and Road Trip. It pulls a little bit from both programs.
Yeah, I haven't seen that.
I don't remember I want to say it's just like a written out curriculum thing. I don't know if she's got it full-fledged. You can ask her about it. The idea is you've got your Kitty Keys students, they're ready to move on, but maybe they're not quite ready for Road Trip yet. This can bridge that gap. Then you put them into the Road Trip, which there's 5 of them, I think, now, and they're all lateral. So the idea is you don't go from one to the other. You can, but they're all just kind of on the same level. They are very unlike any beginner book that I've seen for that age, in that it teaches music reading, and it has some rote stuff, but it's a lot more of like jumping around. So it's not like, here's C position like every other piano book starts in.
Yeah.
Or here's the black keynotes like the Alfred and all those start in. It's jumping around. So they might learn a few notes, but they're going to do it in F position and C position and G position. They're jumping up and down the keyboard, which works a lot better than it sounds like it does.
Yeah, because for me, I'm like, that would confuse a lot of kids.
Yeah, it doesn't. And it's really cool. So I don't know if you ordered that as part of your Piano Pronto thing, threw a couple of those in there or not. If not, I'd look into them because they're really solid for that, let's say, 4 to 6, 4 to 7.
Yeah.
And then from then on up, Piano Pronto or any whatever method you have has all the stuff from, say, 6 and 7 and up. But yeah, I think you could do a lot there. So if you had a teacher that you brought in that did your Kitty Keys stuff, the Kitty Keys Plus would kind of flow out of that as she got students that kind of graduated out of it into the Road Trip stuff, which she could learn into Piano Pronto is kind of the same flow.
Yeah. So what I've been using is I've been teaching 4-year-olds and up, and I've been using just the Bastion early primer series, the
Yeah.
early primer A, primer B.
Yeah.
Right. Just because from what I see, I like their format better than the Faber or Alfred's even for beginners. So I'm just looking to see what other people are using and what's different, that we could add into what we're doing. And Piano Marble is not for younger kids. It's definitely for kids that are piano pronto age.
What's the other app that everybody uses? I'm totally blank. Nope, it's gone. My mind's dead. I'm at that in-between time where I'm not teaching. It's gone. But it's the one that's kind of like Guitar Hero, where you're like playing along with it on the screen. I can't believe I can't think of it. It's like everyone uses it.
I don't know. And Piano Marble has that aspect to it, but it's actually a lot more deeper. A lot more to do with it. There's one that I found that was only on iPads, and I don't use iPads in my studio.
That's the one.
Screw that. I can't even use it.
That's the one.
It's not usable.
I can't the name of it, but yeah, it's that one.
I know what you're talking about, and I was like, well, that looks great and all, but that's not my format, so I won't use it.
Yeah. So that one's really good. And now that I thought about what it is, I can't remember why I was telling you about it. It's all gone.
It's okay. But, it's okay. I think I know what you're talking about. I've researched a lot of different curriculum over the last year because I really wanted to dive into the younger learners because I know that's a huge market that's not really tapped.
Definitely. Yeah.
And so I bought all of the preschool prodigies. I got a lifetime membership for that as well. Are you familiar with that?
No. That one's new to me.
Okay. So preschool prodigies is put together by a guy named Rob Thompson, or Robert Thompson. He goes by Mr. Rob, kind of like Blue's Clues. I mean, it's like that format. But he basically teaches singing and pitch, tonality. So kids learn to sing with perfect pitch, basically.
Okay.
And he teaches them solfege, and they use desk bells. So the kids are using boom whackers and bells and singing with the hand signs, right? So they learn do, re, mi, blah, 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 all of that. And his curriculum covers piano, it covers recorders, it covers, I think they're adding percussion. So all kinds of stuff, but generally speaking, it's for preschoolers. It's for ages, 2 to 6 or so. I don't think I'd use anything from his program on grade school kids past first grade.
Right.
But it's definitely just an intro. So, here's Mr. C, whatever. But the thing is, the desk bells, you probably know this, they're rainbow colored.
Right.
So do is red.
Yeah.
Right. They're all color oriented, as well as you see the sign. So how you learn is different for everybody. So it's pretty cool like that. And then he has a lot of backtrack videos so the kids can play songs, kind of like with boomwhackers, right? There's all these YouTube videos of boomwhacker songs that kids can use to sing along. So there's a lot of that going on. But mostly I found that that's a great way to start kids singing, because I was just talking to a music store owner that wanted me to come work with him, and he said, well, I got a piano student for you. They came in, they wanted voice lessons, but she's 10, and I told them she's too young to learn to sing. And I was like, okay.
Yep.
You don't know what you're talking about, but okay.
There's a bunch of those. I feel like that's dying a lot more. Like I taught at a big classical church for years before I opened my school, and that was the concept of like 10 is a good age for guitar or voice or whatever. Like they didn't take anyone younger because like, well, your fingers have to be so far developed to be able to learn guitar. Like, well, yeah, like optimally, your fingers do work a lot better at 10 than they do at 6, but we can still get a lot done.
Yeah, and you're like, get a half-size guitar or a three-quarter size guitar, right? And so that's what I did with my
way worse because with voice, kids are gonna sing. So you can
sing
either
anyway.
Yeah, you can teach them good technique, or you can wait until they're 12 and then wreck their voice singing on YouTube for 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're the same. We teach it pretty early. Have you looked at do you teach voice?
Uh-huh.
Have you looked at the full voice method?
So I have that too. I haven't done anything with it.
Okay. I was this close, kind of like you and the kitty key stuff. I had it all in the cart, and I was like, ooh, and there was like so much of it I didn't know what to do. I
Yeah.
almost pulled the trigger and then decided not to back in like February or March. I think we're going to try it this summer. It looks good. I like the idea of it being more concrete because like I was a voice major in college.
Yeah.
Like guitar is great. Piano, you have lesson books. You have something physical. Voice is still very, I don't know, just there. You know, it's hard to like really see your growth. Like
Are you familiar with Sing Pro? Have you heard of that?
I haven't. No.
Take a look at Sing Pro. I have it. It's something that I got from my voice teacher.
Yeah.
He has a franchise called The Professional Voice. And so their thing is they teach kids, they coach people to sing professionally.
Yeah.
And you know, pop style mostly, which I'm not into, but it's fine. But the Sing Pro is an app for kids. Well, it's actually not for kids. It's geared towards adults mostly. And then there's like a subsection for a young male voice. But there's this, I think there's a low female voice, a high female voice, men's voice, and you can pick what your range is. And then the vocal exercises are all geared towards what your range is. And they're everything from super simple, you know, up and down scales to arpeggios and all kinds of stuff. And they have like samples of what the correct vocal sound should be. So if you're singing on different vowel sounds, this is how it'll go. And you can sing along with somebody that's doing the track with the vocal in it, or you can cut out the vocals or turn it down so you hear yourself more. And you can record yourself and then hear yourself back. And so it's really great for practicing, teaching warm-ups and things like that. But I would check into that. I don't think it was super expensive. I think it was probably $100 or something.
Yeah,
that's but I use that for mine. And it's great because if I need to do warm-ups with a student, I can just turn on Sing Pro, click on an exercise, and it'll warm them up. I don't have to play anything.
That is cool. Okay, because we have one voice teacher, but she's elementary school teacher, so she can't get there till like 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
But we do a lot of like, when we have people that want voice lessons, a lot of times we'll put them with a piano teacher or a guitar teacher or ukulele teacher, not to get them to learn the instrument, but because, hey, why don't you learn how to accompany yourself as well? And I'm like, oh yeah, that'd be really cool. I'd love to do that. But we've been getting more requests of, well, can we also do some voice stuff? And like, well, she's a piano teacher. She's not really a voice teacher. She's a guitar teacher. She's not really. But a lot of them sing and are in choir and have done that kind of stuff. So they know a few warm-ups and they can do, and I'm always really quick to be like, these are not voice teachers, but they can help you with a few things to kind of get your voice going. Mm-hmm. That's really cool. I like that idea a lot. Yeah,
you should check out that app. It's really great because then, like, if you don't know how to play every scale and you can't play like da-da-da-da-da-da, right? No. And you can't do that in every key without looking, this is perfect.
Very cool. I like it.
Then you just turn it on and away you go, and you don't have to worry about not being able to play the warm-ups.
Yeah, I'll check that out for sure. And then we did a little bit with the full voice. We had like the trial thing where she sent like 3 or 4 chapters. And it was really cool. I like the way it was laid out. We just haven't jumped into it. So I'll let you know if we start doing that this summer and what it looks like, but it looks pretty solid. Okay. So for summer, I mean, where are you at really? Like if you take the summer off, you don't need it.
Well, I'm not taking summer off.
Well, I mean, like, but you normally do, like every other year.
I did. Yeah.
So it's kind of just like a cool bonus for you right now.
Yeah. It's more of a catch my breath, prepare for fall period than it is a break this go round.
So what I would do.
Good. Yeah. Because I think I told you before, what I'm trying to do is build this up, hire other staff, and then kind of step away from as much teaching. I don't want to be here every day teaching. So that's
exactly
really what I'm doing. And that's why I've got these. I'm like, look, if I can buy a program that's like set up, done, out of the box, here you go. Here's your curriculum. Let's work through it. I'll train you. You do it. Yeah. That's what I'm trying to do is really that, right? Kind of a franchise. Kind of.
So you're trying to find that for every instrument kind of and everything that you do?
Yeah. I have a preschool program. I have a piano program. I have a vocal program. And I'm not super, super interested in getting guitar and ukulele because I don't teach that much of it. Yeah. It's here and there, but it's not where I really want to focus. You know what I mean? I'd be okay with hiring a multi-instrumentalist who can play guitar and ukulele, and that's great. But that's almost where I'm like, that's like a voice class for me. I don't feel like there's a really good curriculum to teach guitar.
So there is, have you heard of G4 guitar method?
No.
So Paul Andrews, who's in the group and he's in the Patreon too, uses G4. I think I actually did his website as a website analysis a couple of months ago, so you can kind of look through it there too. But his specifically is G4 Guitar Ashford. He's in England.
Oh.
And his is the best by far. And like it's a program that you lease, like Kitty Keys.
Can you send me a link?
Yeah.
Okay, that'd be awesome.
But his is, so there's hundreds of G4 guitar teachers throughout the world.
Really?
Paul's is by far the best that I've ever seen. And I've talked with the main guy too. Huh. He's really good. I think David is his name, the main guy that does it. It's a great program. It's laid out really well. It's the type of thing where I started working on my own curriculum and went, damn, he did it better. Like, I can't waste my time reinventing the wheel because he's already got it, and it's really good. But it's a little bit clunky. The system itself, like the website that he uses, but the curriculum that you buy is not. It's really, really smooth. It's really solid. So what you buy from him is it's checklists and then all the curriculum that comes with it. So it's really good in that they just kind of move through this system. He's got it for 3 different age groups. The buy-in is fairly small. I don't remember what it was, but it wasn't too bad because we looked into doing it for us. You might want to look into that if you're thinking about guitar.
I think I will, because I know that there's a need for guitar teachers around here. There are people that have asked about it, and I was like, I'm not putting myself out as a guitar teacher because I'm not great at it. I'm a good beginner teacher, but I can't take them anywhere.
Yeah, this one's good. If you've got, I would say, a decent intermediate guitarist that can follow instructions well, it's a great program. Paul had a guitar school for, I don't remember, like 3-5 years, something like that, before he switched over to G4 and embraced their model. And I think he's got 130, 150 students, something like that. We're working towards 150 right now, and he's probably just about there. His is mostly group classes. That's kind of how the model is set up too, but it works really, really well. It's really good. So it didn't work for us because guitar is my primary, and I knew what I wanted to do, and it was not quite the direction I want to go. We're more of, for acoustic guitar, like, here's some chords, here's some keys, let me show you the basics, and then you can go and sing and you can play. We have a lot of students like that. So they're not really into guitar skills. They're into, give me some basic skills so that I can do this other stuff.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I think that the Mel Bay and the Hal Leonard guitar books are like,
So the one good book that I found is the Hal Leonard Guitar Tab Method.
Yeah.
It's really good. If you're more of like the electric guitar type thing, it uses classic rock songs all the way through. So Hal Leonard owns the rights to like everything.
Yeah.
Instead of Mel Bay, where you were like playing a long, long time ago, and Shenandoah and all this stuff that nobody cares about. I taught those books for years. Like,
I know. And so I'm like, okay, that's where you run into the same difficulty. I'm like, okay, let's get on Ultimate Guitar and go find you some music.
Yeah, that's it. So Ultimate Guitar Songster, if you've ever used that one.
What's it called?
Songster. It's got 2 R's at the end. SONGSTERR.com. The website is completely free, but you can get it through an app, and it's like $5 a month or something like that.
That's cheap.
Fantastic. It's Guitar Tab. They have almost every song. It's like Wikipedia, user submitted, but it keeps getting better, like Wikipedia.
Yeah.
But it's the follow the bouncing ball type of format.
Yeah, that would be great.
So it's got the tab, and then it plays it for you. If you buy the app, you can slow it down. You can click on sections.
That would be fantastic, because that's pretty much what Piano Marble does too.
Yeah. Anytime I've got an electric guitar student that wants to work on something, or they're getting a lot more of a fingerstyle guitar type stuff.
Yeah.
So anything from like James Taylor to like a lot of the newer folksy people, that kind of fingerstyle stuff is in there a lot too.
So do you teach a lot of tab versus just chording, like chord structures, or?
It depends on the students. So for electric guitar students, we're primarily doing a mixture of Songster, which is a lot more just like whatever song they want to work on is out there. And I use the Hal Leonard Guitar Tab method to kind of set the foundation.
Yeah.
It's just really solid. It goes through tab, it goes through each string, all the different techniques that you use, but it uses songs that you actually want to play.
Exactly.
So like the first song is, they start with the Jaws theme. just a do, because it's one, half step. That's easy enough.
Mm-hmm.
It goes into building just different stuff. It's really good. It's a lot of, I haven't seen anything cheesy in it, and I haven't had any students that hated it. Whereas with Mel Bay, I can tell you the exact page where every student fell off of that book. Yeah. So anyway, so we do that, and then for acoustic students, they're kind of completely different. For acoustic students, they want to do more singing and playing, or they're into like fingerstyle, folksy type things. Songwriting. There's just a really, really clear divide in our studio between what they want to work on when they come in. So with those, we do like a chord by key kind of thing. Like I'll teach G chords, and we'll learn G chords, and we'll learn them really well, and we'll do that for a few months, and then we'll learn C chords, and we'll start all the way over instead of learning all the chords or trying to just learn them every song.
Yeah, because I usually teach it like, okay, let's start with C, right? And then G7, which is right next to it, and then F, which is also right there, right? Then they can start playing some songs, because I feel like they need to be able to have a song or two every week where they're not just going, okay, I've learned the E string and I know E, F, G. Well, that's great, but what can you play with it,
Right. Yeah. So
for
ours, we do G chords first, and you play guitar a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we do G chord, like the 4-finger G chord. And when we teach our G chords, like in the key of G, we don't call them all the fancy stuff. So that's G, C add 9, which is where you just move your fingers down. You know what I'm talking about?
Nope.
It's horribly out of tune, so I'll just show you. But like, there's your G chord, right? If you just move your fingers down, that's C chord, right?
Oh yeah, the 5th.
Then like E minor 7. So these two fingers stay the whole time.
Yeah. I know.
Minor,
yeah.
Yeah. So we teach those 4. That way the 3rd and 4th things stay planted the whole time. I don't tell them it's a C add 9 chord or an E minor 7 chord or a D suspended 4 chord. It's just G, C, E minor, D. With those 4 chords, you can conquer the world.
Yes, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like 4 chords at a time. Exactly.
So they learn that, and my goal with them, and we do the same thing for ukulele, but we do C chords on ukulele. The goal is to make them bored. I want them to learn their G chords. We start with quarter note, down strum, strumming. Then we'll go to 8 notes, kind of double time. Then we'll start bringing in some up strums. But it's very slow paced, because that first lesson, I want to get them playing a song.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, they can play, and they can do dozens. I mean, you can do thousands of songs with just those 4 chords. So the idea is, okay, you've got the chords down. Once they're really comfortable switching, then I start getting a little more complicated with the strums, down, 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 up kind of stuff, and kind of building from there. And then once their right hand gets comfortable, and I can tell that that's comfortable, now it's time for a new set of chords. So I'll do C, F, G, and A minor. The weird chords too. So if I'm in G, I'll do A minor and B minor, because they come up a little bit. But it's slow paced, because I want them to really immerse themselves. I think of it like steps. So like you take this big step from like, okay, here's a guitar, to here's these 4 chords, and your hands hurt and your fingers don't know where to go, and it's awkward. And then when you take that big step, we're going to plateau, and we're going to sit there for weeks, months, depending on the student, get really, really comfortable to the point of boredom, to the point of like, I got this. Isn't there anything more for guitar? And then like, oh yeah, there's more. And then you make that next big step up, and you rock their world, and they hate everything all over again. And then they're comfortable, and then you just keep doing that as you move up. Because I did it the other way, where every week it's like, hey, here's E, F, G. Hey, here's this. Hey, here's this chord. Let's do this song. It has these chords. And they never get their footing, because everything's always new and nothing really connects to the other stuff. So it works well, but it works well with specific types of students.
Yeah, it sounds like that's kind of what I've been doing too, because once they get like, okay, here's your C, here's your G, G7, D, A minor, E minor, whatever. Then I look for like a group of songs, 5, 6, 7, 8 songs that are only with those 3 or 4 whatever chords that we're working in, just so that they can practice doing different chord transitions, and they know those chords really well. And then we move to another group of songs. So it's kind of the same. But like I said, there's no real curriculum. I haven't found one where I'm like, oh, this is great, we're just going to use it.
We had to write ours, and it's been something I've been working on forever. Finally kind of got it down. And what I had to do was simplify it and generalize it a little bit more, because I was trying to get really specific with every technique and every song and everything that was needed. So to just say, okay, here's the basics of what that needs to be, because I'm not even teaching it. I've got 8 students, whereas I had 80 4 years ago. So I have to go like, okay, how can I get these concepts across to another teacher so they can get them across to a student? You know, I have to make it a lot simpler than what it is in my head. So we've been able to do that and kind of dumb it down. Now, we're releasing it this summer, and then we'll have it in the fall a little bit more. But yeah, like you said, it's not out there. A curriculum, it's not like, here's everything that you need.
No, not at all. And it's so weird because there's so many different piano curriculums, but I just don't see one for guitar that's really
there's not
comprehensive.
So if this one works out for us well, and I'm hoping it will, it may be something that I kind of like release outside of our studio, or it might just be something that kind of our studio does, but I'll keep you posted, because I know it's something that I've been looking for forever. But in terms of actual guitar skills, G4 is the best that I've seen by far.
Yeah.
But it's going to focus on chords, it's going to focus on tab, it's going to focus on reading music, theory. I think there's 7 like cornerstones that they build the program around, but it's good. It's like guitar skills. So if they just want to strum some chords, this isn't the program for them. If they want to actually be able to like really do some stuff on guitar, this is what they're looking for.
Does it give them like, okay, here's a few different licks you can use in any key or anything like that? Like, you know what I'm saying?
I think so. I didn't dig into it completely, but I feel like it does.
Okay.
Yeah. Which those are good too.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, so for summer, what I would do, just generally speaking, keep your normal stuff going. But since you don't need it, like a lot of piano teachers and other teachers that I work with do, try some stuff out. Just go nuts. Try stuff. Try some classes. Like, this is your time to experiment because you have half the amount of students that you normally have.
Right.
And aren't you doing your charter school stuff? Does that take the summer off too?
Some do, and some of them don't. They fund kids year round. So I have, of the kids that are staying, probably half of them are charter kids.
Okay, nice. Yeah. So either way, you've got a little more time than you normally would. So yeah, just kind of think about some stuff that you'd like to do for fall. I think the membership thing is really cool.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a lot that I've just kind of like collected stuff that I want to implement. Like, okay. But, I'm doing this online lesson academy with the Upbeat Piano teacher group. Yeah. I'm doing that right now, and I'm like sadly far behind. I need to catch up in that. But the reason I'm doing it is because, again, it's the age old, we missed our lesson. We want our makeup lesson. And I'm like, okay, we used to do that, but we're not doing that anymore. Yeah. And I want to be able to have a go-to for families who are like, they miss their 2 freebies of, yes, you can have a makeup. And now it's like, nope, sorry, we're not doing any makeup classes, but I'll send you a video.
Yeah. And I think that can work, especially if you build a library of stuff that you use. I'm not a huge fan of the Skype version of it. Because normally if they can't make a lesson.
I'm talking about video lessons where I record it. Yeah. And videotape something. Like what I told the parent, this happened to me last week. She's like, we can't make it so-and-so sick. And I was like, okay, take a picture of their notebook so I can see what they're working on. I have the same books here in my studio. So I will just record what her next lesson is and review, this is what I want you to do. See you next week.
That's a good way to do it. I like that it puts it in their court too. Because what I used to do is the same. I would say, hey, we'll trade videos back and forth.
Oh,
What I would do is I would send them a video, and I would put them on YouTube, so I can go and look on YouTube, and I saw that probably 80 or 90% never got viewed.
Yeah. So
I would spend 20 minutes making a video that they would never watch, because if they're too busy to come to their lesson, they're too busy to find time to dig into this any other time either. Mm-hmm. So what I started doing was saying, hey, you send me a video of what you're working on, and I'll send you like a video reply back of here's what you should do. I think I probably offered that dozens of times over the semester that I tried it. One student took me up on it one time.
Wow.
That's it. Because they can't be bothered to spend the time to do it. They just want you to bend over backwards and do makeups, or hey, can you come at a different time, or can we do this, or like, as soon as you put the ball in their court and say, hey, I'm totally here to help you out, whatever you need, just do this for me, send this. Ain't nobody got time for that. Like,
and they're like, yeah, never mind.
Yeah.
right?
So I like that because it puts the responsibilities on them. They canceled the lesson. So it puts it back. So I like that you've got them sending a picture of their thing. It's simple. But I would imagine that you probably still have some that don't even do that.
Yeah, I did. I actually had one student who didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you just go, hey, sorry I didn't get your thing, but I would love to send you a video.
Yeah, and then this week they're like, oh, hey, we have a graduation, blah, blah, blah. We're not going to make it. And I'm like, yeah, okay, see you next week.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, cool, bye.
Yeah.
I'm not making it up.
That's good. For ours, like we're pretty much a no makeup studio, and
Yeah.
that's been working really well for us. Where
And they show up, right?
Huh? Well, they
Yes,
show up, and then it's a lot of affluent students.
Mm-hmm.
But if they don't, it's normally because they bought some other activity that they're doing, and they have something better. And life is choices, you know.
Yeah.
You come here, you can go there. It doesn't. Either way is fine with me. So what I do is I tell them, you know, hey, we've got a baseball game on Tuesday. Do you have another time? I don't, but man, have fun at the game, and I'll see you next week.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. And 90% of the time, that's fine. And the other 10% when they go, so can we have a makeup? Then I go, no, you know, our policy is, you know, not for that type of thing. We don't really do sports as a makeup, but we'll see you next week. And they're normally fine with that. If they really push it, they don't, honestly.
You're like, no.
Because I mean, it's no, like it's not a discussion. It's not a, well, I could maybe. Sometimes I'll tell them like, hey, if we have anything else open up this week, I'll let you know. Because we're full, like you are. Like it's not like I have all this time sitting around for makeup lessons.
Yeah.
Our rooms are full. Our teachers are full. I've got you booked when you're here. You can't come on Thursdays at 6 because we have 4 students in our studio already. Thursdays at 6. You know, we don't have a room open for you. So most of the time they get that. It's not to say that we don't do makeup lessons. I do them all the time. It's just it's when I feel like it. And when it's a good student and when it's worth it. And when I can tell that it's actually the student that wants it and not just the mom trying to make sure they get their money's worth.
Yeah, I really hate that.
Those are my least favorite. Yeah. And I get it. Like I'm a parent too. Like I want to make sure that my kid get their value. But if I cancel, like he did swim lessons last summer. We totally forgot about the first lesson completely. I wasn't like, hey, can we get a makeup for the first lesson, or can we reschedule it, or can I get a refund for this? Like, no, I screwed up and I missed a lesson. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
It happens. Anyway, something I think I want to look at next month for you a little bit deeper, because it does look like you're pretty full and you're maybe starting to grow a little bit, is your policy stuff a little bit. Do you feel like you're pretty set there, or do you feel like you need some work?
I have written my policies a couple of times actually, and I'm still trying to figure out how I want to do these makeups, and that's why I wanted to get this video lesson thing kind of dialed in. Yeah. And I'm raising my rates, and what's really funny is I'm petrified to tell the parents, hey, I'm raising my rate for fall, you know? Yeah. Like, I'm like, should I do it in October when they're already signed up? You know, I'm like.
So the funny thing is, with monthly, they're going to notice it a little bit more. For us, we raise our rates $50 at a time per semester. So it'll go from $400 to $450. In January, we're going to go from $450 to $500. I found that most of the time parents don't even remember how much it is, or they just go, okay, whatever, and they're just fine. What are your rates now, and what are you raising them to?
Well, so they were $100 a month, and I'm raising them to $120. Okay. And that's pretty typical for my area. Yeah. And you know, talking to other people at other studios, that's like standard fare. Nobody's charging less than that. Yeah. And some are charging more, which is fine. And then we travel. I have some lessons that are in home. Yeah. And I think I told you about that. So I'm raising those to $140. So I'm really not changing how much I'm charging to travel. I'm still just charging them $5 a week, just for now. Yeah. And you know, we'll probably switch it to $150 next semester. But I just don't want to give them all sticker shock because, you know, they budget for this with their other curriculum, and if they can't afford it, they just quit early. Yeah. You know, they're like, we're out of funds, thanks, bye.
So what we'll do is, when does your school year start?
August 10th, I believe.
Really? And you guys don't get out till June?
Ridiculous.
That's great. So we start the same, but we get out in like mid-May. Yeah, so if you're starting August 10th, I'd say probably September.
Change the rate in September?
Yeah.
So get them all back and then raise the rate?
Yeah, exactly. Because if not, you're still in that like summer, it's kind of a weird time in between.
Yeah, and I'm basically just inviting them to go shopping for another teacher who's cheaper, right? Who's desperate.
So you're already having the door, which is good. You're already full, so you're probably going to lose a few, maybe, but most teachers don't, honestly. But even if you do, you're already full. So you're going to lose a few and then be able to fill it with your summer students that are coming in.
They're already paying more. I already raised the rates for all my new students. I started in May, I think April and May. Every new student was started at the 120 and 140. And so, they're like, hey, do you do discounts for siblings? No, I don't. And they're like, okay. They all want to get a deal.
So what happened when you told them the rate?
They were like, okay, because the studio has a really good reputation.
Yeah.
We get a lot of referral business. And so I think they're like, okay. And in fact, I had one parent complain because she was like, well, so-and-so referred me and that wasn't what she's paying. And I said, yeah, no, well, we've grandfathered them in because all our new students are at this rate. It just is what it is. And she's like, well, don't I get a student discount for siblings? And I said, no.
Yeah.
And the other parent is getting a student discount, right? Because she has a sibling. And I'm like, well, their rates are going up too, but I've grandfathered them.
Yeah.
So,
And
I'm sorry. But, what's that?
And they're in your studio now?
Yeah. Yeah, they're here. They're like, okay, if that's the rule, and like that's how it is. And I said, I have families with 3 and 5 kids and they all pay the same rate. I can't discount for you.
Yeah. And it's fine. It is what it is. I was talking with a patron a few days ago for a consult, and she's the same. She's been kind of teaching out of her house for a long time. She's just starting to get a little bit more serious about it, raising her rates. And hers are a pretty big jump too. I think she's going from like 80 or 90 to like 120. And she had her first new student come in, and she did that thing that all of us do when we raise rates, where you're like, oh, how much are lessons? They're $120 a month. And you almost like phrase it as a question because you're so afraid of how they're going to react.
Yeah.
And it's fine. Like 95% of the time, people are like, okay, yeah. And they're fine.
Yeah. And I had a lady contact me actually yesterday, and she's texted me again today, and she's like, well, I have a 7-year-old, and what's the cheapest way of lessons that you have? And I have a 4-year-old, and what kind of sibling discount do you have? And I was like, yeah, I don't really have one. I'm like, you're talking to the wrong studio because I'm not desperate.
Yeah. And I take pride in that now. We've never done discounts. We've never done free trial lessons. We've never done anything like that. Like, it just kind of is what it is. And we're full and we're growing and we've got a good reputation like you do. So that's where it is. I think you're fine. So as far as raising for the fall, it doesn't really matter when you do it. You're probably not going to get much pushback at all. But don't make it a, hey, I'm raising your rates type letter, since you're kind of redoing your policy a little bit anyway.
Yeah.
When you send that out, maybe in July or in August, just say, hey, here's the new stuff for the upcoming school year. Here's the policies. Here's the rates for the school year. Don't say, here's the new rates, or here's
I don't. Yeah.
Here's your rates. Here's the new policy. Leave it at that. You are going to have a few the first month or two that forget or legitimately forget and pay you the old rate if they've been doing it for a while.
Yeah.
Just be prepared for that, for what you do if they pay you the old rate.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's good. I think you're in good shape there. You charge the same for all your teachers?
Pardon?
You charge the same rate for all your teachers?
No. The one that I have that's been teaching for 1.5 years with me, I pay way too much for her. We probably had the discussion before, but I can't cut her pay. I don't feel good about like just telling you, no, I'm not going to pay you as much. Although I'd really love to take her down $10 an hour.
Yeah.
Even $5 an hour would be great. Just because she's teaching so many kids, by the time I'm done with all the billing and paperwork and all the other stuff I'm doing, I'm making like $10 an hour off of all of her students, or $10 a month. It's ridiculous.
What are you paying her?
I'm paying her $70 and I'm making $100, which is one of the reasons why I'm raising my rates, because all of the student incentives and billing and all this other, student acquisition costs, it all comes out of my pocket. Doesn't affect her at all.
Yeah, that's a lot. So she's going up to 122, right?
Oh yeah.
Good. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But I'm like, you know, I really need to raise rates because of that. But here's the thing, right? It's summer. So now her student load has also dropped. So her income went down. And I can't go to her and say, okay, now I'm going to cut your pay.
Right.
You know what I mean? That would be like, I'm just going to kick you out the door. You know, that would be terrible. So I can't drop the rate that she's getting paid for summer. But in the fall, that's going to be a serious discussion because she's either going to have to pay for her own student incentives or something because I'm not making any money keeping her here.
Yeah. It will be better because you're gonna be closer to 60%, 50%. I mean, that's still a lot, no matter how you do it.
Yeah. Well, I did it as a favor, but I didn't realize we were going to grow like we did.
Right.
I meant to have her take, 20 students maybe, but she's up to like almost 40.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm really not making any money off of that, just so you know. So, you know.
Remind me next month, and what we'll do is we'll talk through your policy stuff, which I kind of have for this month, and then we kind of went some other directions. But I want to talk about your policies and your makeup and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Let's talk more about this teacher, and see if we can find a good plan that's not just like, hey, gonna cut your pay. Because there's no good way to do that.
I've been talking to my husband about it, and I was like, I could have a sit down with her and go, look, I just got done with my taxes, and it turns out you're really, you're benefiting really, really well, and I'm really not making any money.
You can do that, but she's absolutely not going to care, no matter how much she likes you and values you.
Yeah.
You go to someone, you're like, hey, I'm going to need some more of that money from you. They don't care.
Yeah.
So it might just be more of a value thing of like, hey, we can keep this rate, but we're going to have to get you to do a little more, or let me think about it. And let's try and find something that's some kind of creative answer.
Yeah.
I mean, that rate, even if you knocked her down to 60, that's still pretty solid.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, I'm just not making any money. So I need to figure out a diplomatic way of saying I can, I needed to go down to 65 instead of 70.
Yeah.
Because, those little student incentives that I pay for every month, it's coming out of my backside and I'm not making any money. So.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. We'll figure it out. We'll think about that one and we'll come up with something interesting there.
Yeah, it was a faux pas. My husband's like, well, quit giving her students. And I'm like, well, the problem is if I quit giving her students, eventually she's going to quit. And then what am I going to do?
Yeah. Well, I mean, if she's making what she's making, she's not going to in any other studio. No one else is going to pay her that much.
No, they aren't. And I've checked around at, this other studio who wanted to hire me. And he's like, well, we take 33% of whatever you make. Yeah. You can charge what you want, but we're taking a third. And I was like, yeah, I'm not even getting that from my other teacher.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm getting close, but yeah, no.
We'll get there. Yeah. We'll be good.
So.
Okay. Well, look at those. Let me think about those, and we'll check back in next month.
Okay. Sounds good.
By then, you'll be well into your summer.
What's that?
I said by then, you'll be well into your summer.
Yes. Yes, I will be well into summer. Okay, well, cool. Then I will take a look at getting my kitty keys rolling, and then I need to look at the full voice after this week because I have to finish billing. I have pretty much all of spring semester to bill for a lot of these kids. There's a lot of money that's just sitting out there waiting to be collected. So I got to go take care of that.
The G4 thing?
Yeah, I see it. G4guitarashford.com.
Yep.
Cool.
So check that out. If you check out the actual G4 stuff, the website and all the tech stuff that he has is super clunky, but the system itself is really good. So that's why I'm saying Paul's is the best that I've seen.
Okay.
But don't let the actual G4 website, if you go there, throw you off. The system's actually really solid.
Okay, so the G4 Guitar Ashford is Paul's website, the teacher?
That's Paul's G4 school. Just like you could have a Kitty Keys school.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
And G4 is the main method. I think he's got some links to the G4 thing on there. But
probably.
If you have any questions about it, Paul, I'm sure you can talk about it. Cool.
Okay. Well, cool. That sounds good to me. And I think that's pretty much it.
Sounds good.
Lots of stuff to
Have a
do.
good one. And we'll see you next time when you're
Okay.
relaxed and in summer mode.
I know. That it might happen.
It's nice on this side. It's you like it. It's there.
Yeah,
Right,
I don't do relax very well. I'm very, very busy and I like to be, so
yeah.
that was something,
It's
Anyway,
taken me some time, but it's
no,
good.
I need to be doing what you're doing basically. I need to let go of some control, just get the systems in place and then put the people in place. So,
That's it. That's,
yeah.
policies is part of that, but the big picture stuff we're going to look at over the next few months is systems, because you want to start taking yourself out of the business.
Yeah.
And the only way to do that is if you have all of your business on paper to where you can start passing it off.
Yeah.
So, yep.
Okay,
We'll
sounds good.
All right.
Thank
See ya.
you.